Today on Personal Injury Court.
You finally decided, I'm gonna do this.
I said, YOLO. They immediately started turning the bull. The thing is spinning around. I fell on my left shoulder, Your Honor, and I felt it crack.
You're asking this court for a total of $303,000. Had anybody get hurt on your bull, on Buddy?
All the time, people get on and get knocked off.
In this situation, surgery is definitely required.
So this person behind Miss Anderson is one of your guys?
There is no validity to this case, Your Honor.
Judge Gino Brogdon spent 10 years on the bench ruling on cases worth billions of dollars. Now he presides over some of the largest claims in TV history. This is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Anderson versus Brown. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, it's my understanding that you are suing the Browns for injuries that Mrs. Anderson sustained when riding their mechanical bull. You're asking this court to award you $33,000 for your medical bills, $20,000 for your future medical bills, $250,000 for pain and suffering, for a total of $303,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you all believe a mechanical bull is what it is. People ride, they fall off. This did what it was supposed to do. And if she's injured, that's just something she took into account. It's not your fault.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's get into the legal sauce. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, what would make a married couple want to ride a bull?
We're a very fun couple. We like to go out and have date night every Wednesday. And so on Wednesdays, we'll go to the carnival. And when we're at the carnival, we will, eat cotton candy, candy apples. We ride the rides.
I used to love that as a kid.
There's also a mechanical bull there. And my husband, he thinks he's a professional, Your Honor. Every time he sees that bull, he wants to jump up there and ride. I'm afraid of the bull, but I'm not afraid of the roller coaster. So that's my thing.
But you don't get next to that bull.
I don't get next to that bull.
Well, how in the world do you get your wife to want to ride a bull?
Your Honor, it took a lot of, baby, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But I'm a great motivator, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, how long have y'all operated a mechanical bull? How long have you had this bull?
15 years now. Been married for 7. And we are very proud of Buddy. Buddy's our best bull. He's our favorite
Buddy's
bull.
the bull.
Buddy's the bull.
What made you all start a mechanical bull company?
Well, that was him. It was all part of his family. We both grew up on a farm, so I definitely enjoyed horses. He was more of the bull side of it. We specifically bought Buddy before we got married, so he's basically our good luck charm.
So you're standing at the bull. This is going to be a first time, right?
This is my first time.
You finally decided, I'm going to do this.
I said, YOLO.
You first get on. Now tell me what's happening.
So when I first got on the bull, Your Honor, I grabbed onto the handle that you see there. I thought that they were going to start it at a beginner stage.
Okay.
But when I got on that thing, they immediately started turning the bull. All of a sudden, it started going faster and faster. I started screaming. I'm like, help, somebody help me, because I've never seen it go that fast, Your Honor. And so I'm thinking they're going to stop the bull. But instead, one of their operators jumped on to the back of the bull with me. And I'm trying to hold on. The thing is spinning around, and I fell. I fell on my left shoulder, Your Honor, and I felt it crack. I've had an 8-pound baby, and I never felt the pain that I felt when I fell on my shoulder.
That's a lot of pain.
That I ended up spraining my left leg as well as breaking my shoulder.
Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you don't take any responsibility for this.
Anyone that gets on this bull has a clear understanding of what's going on. It's really quite simple and elementary. You get on and you fall off. That's what the mats are for.
It's a mechanical bull.
It happened before. And there's warning signs posted everywhere.
So you don't think you're responsible for this?
We're not responsible for this, Your Honor. In the time that we have run. We are not responsible.
Well, you're actually shooting this on your phone, right?
I'm actually looking at me and my daughter, we're standing side by side. And I have my camera phone up, so I'm videotaping the whole scenario.
And you all submitted that video to this court?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Let's take a look at it. Miss Anderson, I heard you on that tape. You knew you were hurt pretty bad right away, didn't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
She knew the risk.
There's no in the
She was
vicinity at all.
nervous, and she knew the risk of what was going on. She's seen this happen before and was finally taking part in something that her husband's taking part in.
Have y'all ever had
She brought it upon
anybody
herself.
get hurt on your bull, on
No.
Buddy?
All the
There's
time,
mats
people get on and get
around it.
knocked off, and yeah, you're gonna get sprained because you understand it's at your own risk.
Have you ever had another person on there?
That's a good question. Your Honor, our trained professionals understand there should be only one person on the bull at a time.
So this person behind Miss Anderson is one of your guys?
Yeah, that was his guy. I was yelling for help, Your Honor, and I thought when I yelled for help that they were going to turn the bull off. I didn't know that this guy was going to come jumping out of nowhere, jumping onto the back of the bull. He put his hands where my hands were initially, and so I didn't even really have something to hold on to. I'm trying to hold on to him.
So you're not even able to hold on?
No, I'm not able to hold on, and then they started spinning it faster.
So, Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, why was your employee on the bull with Miss Anderson?
This video does not show clearly that she was asking for help, and the only reason our trained employee was
Look what
there
you
was
did to my
because
wife.
she was
Look what
asking
you did
for
to my
help,
wife.
And we were being nice to allow her to ride the bull.
Your Honor, this is
So
not
you were
right.
trying to help
This is
her.
not
For
normal.
everyone to take
That was
part,
Being nice.
what Buddy's got to offer.
Folks, we got to have order in this courtroom. I need to hear so I can make a decision. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you all were trying to help her by
were
putting
trying
Look what
her
you
on
did
there.
to my wife.
That's what they show.
Mr. Anderson,
show is that
I know this
they
is
were
important to
asking for
you,
help.
but give me a break. Let me handle this, okay? It's okay. So your employee's on the back. This is what you wanted him to
He
do.
was trying to help her. She
Okay.
was
He
asking
He was
for
not
help.
trying to help me.
And that's the only reason a trained professional would be on there. Only one person is allowed at a time, and they understand that.
Coming up,
They know she doesn't ride the bull all the time. Not until somebody jumped on the bull with my wife, they turning the bull up higher and higher and higher. It caused an accident.
That's an intermediate, beginner level. Everybody starts on that level.
You should not have gotten on the bull.
Is that your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, that is my signature.
Well, did you read it before you signed it?
No, Your Honor, I'll be honest, I didn't read it.
Let me give you a legal lesson.
I'm thinking they're gonna stop the bull, but instead one of their operators jumped on.
Oh my God, she's hurt. This is not normal right here, okay?
This is your
their
fault.
okay?
It is-
Have you,
It is-
Mr. Anderson, have you ever been on a bull where there was someone behind you helping you?
Never. No one ever has anybody extra on the bull. The problem with this scenario right here is they were starting too fast, too soon for a beginner rider. They know she doesn't ride the bull all the time. Not until somebody jumped on the bull with my wife and extra pressure to the bull, and they turning the bull up higher and higher and higher. Only then it caused an accident to my wife.
Mr. and Mrs. Brown, was this bull going fast?
It
This
wasn't.
bull runs at the same intermediate speed for all beginners.
No,
it doesn't
it
matter if
doesn't.
you're experienced or not. We always started at the same time.
Well, I
That's
want
why-
to
as
see
you
how
can see,
fast this bull goes.
We wanted to set up a
Are you able to start it up?
See. We wanted to go ahead and show you how Buddy runs.
Okay, so Buddy's
That-
doing this when someone's riding.
That's an intermediate, beginner level. Everybody starts on that level, sir. It's understood. And she's seen it enough times to
Now,
know that.
speed it up. Let me see how it looks
not
when
the
it
level
goes
of that
fast.
one. wife.
Yeah, show them the
That's not
level
the
you
level.
had it on when I was on
This is
it.
just for experience.
the higher speed.
No,
Upon knowing
show
it's
them
an
the level
experienced
where I
rider.
was on there.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
That's how she started.
That's how I started.
That's how she started, y'all.
Come on.
That's how I
All right, so
started.
hold on. You all acknowledge that very few people can stay safely on the bull at that speed.
Right.
Right?
No, they can stay safe. The point is to get on the bull and then you get off. There's always safety. There's
Well,
always mats.
Falling's
You
part
get
of
on
the
and you fall
fun.
out.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. We clearly have signs everywhere. As you can see in the video, it's posted you could not possibly get on this bull without seeing at least one
I do
sign
see
says
that
you will
sign.
ride at your own risk.
So Miss Anderson, did you see that
I
sign?
did see the sign, Your Honor. I did. And I understood that I was taking a risk when I got on it. However, they created a greater risk whenever they put their operator on the back of the ride.
But you knew you would fall.
I knew that I would fall.
That's how it's supposed to turn
I
out.
watched it 100 times. It's not something that I didn't know was going to happen.
How much
what
more
I
difficult
didn't
are you gonna
know
make it if you're
was
gonna
that
fall
someone
off?
else was going to
You
get
get
on
on,
the
you
back
fall
of
off.
it
It's
and
as simple
cause
as
me to
that.
fall. No, your operator
Folks.
caused me to fall.
You're gonna make me come out my skin. You gotta talk to me.
next.
You all are seeking $20,000 for future medical.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a bunch of screws and bolts and stuff in my arm.
This court has consulted Dr. Jamila Gator.
She was diagnosed with a displaced clavicle fracture. We describe it as displaced because the two ends of the bone are actually separated.
There is no validity to this case, Your Honor. We have a legal document indemnifying us of any legal recourse.
Okay, so you signed a waiver. You all remember signing a waiver, right?
There's always safety. There's
Well,
always match.
Falling's
You
part
get
of
on
the
and you fall
fun.
out.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. We clearly have signs everywhere.
So, Miss Anderson, did you see that sign? There's not a person in this courtroom that looks at a mechanical bull and thinks that someone stays on. Isn't that part of the fun, Mr. Anderson?
That is all part of the fun. She knew she was gonna fall, and that's okay. We don't have
Which
a
is why I was
problem with that,
afraid.
Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson, tell me the impact of these injuries on your family.
My wife is in a cast right now. She can't go to the bathroom. She can't change her clothes. She can't do any of the normal things that a person would be able to do. All that stuff that she used to do, I have to do it for her.
Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, I see that you all submitted $33,000 for past medical bills.
Yes.
That's gotta weigh pretty heavy on your family.
Yes.
Yes.
And you all are seeking $20,000 for future medical.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a bunch of screws and bolts and stuff in my arm. I still have to have an additional surgery, not to mention the physical therapy that I'm gonna have to continue to go to. I go to therapy 3-4 times a week.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you don't think you're responsible for this?
We feel sorry and we have empathy for this situation.
And you need to pay me my money.
But she knew that there was a risk
There ain't gonna
of
be
her falling
no
off.
money.
You should not have gotten on the bull. There
No,
were
you need to pay me
signs.
my money.
You knew that there was a risk. You should not have gotten on the bull.
You
if
should
were
not have had your rider get on the back of the bull.
Folks,
There ain't gonna be no
Folks.
text cash today, madam. I'll
Well,
tell
we'll
you that
let the
much.
judge
You
decide.
need to take responsibility.
there's
for
gonna
your
be
own-
order in this
You
courtroom.
need to pay me my money.
Miss Anderson, Mr. Brown, I need order in my court. Address your comments to me. You see my head is sweating. Folks, to better understand the nature of your injuries, this court has consulted Dr. Jamila Gator. Sheriff, will you retrieve Dr. Gator from the hallway?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Come on in, make yourself comfortable, please. Dr. Gator, can you explain Miss Anderson's injuries?
Yes, Your Honor. She was diagnosed with a displaced clavicle fracture. We describe it as displaced because the two ends of the bone are actually separated. Surgery is definitely required. And so here you see there's actually a plate fixation where a plate is placed on top of the bone and screws are actually drilled into the bone.
So how long is the recovery on this?
Definitely weeks and weeks of physical therapy and strengthening. And so then many months later, the hardware after the bone is healed is taken out in that case.
What do you estimate her future medical costs to be?
If she has to have a future surgery, it could be as high as $20,000.
Jeez.
Thank you, doctor. You are released.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
you. You may step down.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, you don't seem like you really have a heart on this thing. I'm a little
He- no, he
bothered
doesn't
by
care.
that.
Don't care.
There
He
is
does
no
not care.
validity to this case, Your Honor. We have a legal document that was signed by Ms. Anderson indemnifying us of any legal recourse or
Okay.
damage upon being her on this ride, Your Honor.
Sheriff Matt, if you'll
And
retrieve
everybody
that document.
has to understand and sign one of these legal documents before they're allowed to take part in this activity, sir. As you can see, it's signed.
Okay, so you signed a waiver. You all remember signing a waiver, right?
I did, Your Honor. I
Okay,
did
and
sign it.
the pertinent part reads, release of liability. Number one, I acknowledge that riding a mechanical bull entails risks that could result in physical or emotional injury, paralysis, death, injury, or damage to me. That me being you, Miss Anderson. Is that your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, that is my signature.
Well, did you read it before you signed it?
No, Your Honor, I'll be honest, I didn't read it.
Let me give you a legal lesson. Whenever you sign a legal document, the law presumes that you've read it before you sign it. Now, you have to have ample time to read it, but when you get ample time to read it, whether you read it or not, if you sign it like you did, you gotta live by it. You expect them to live by this waiver. You all plan to live by the waiver too, right?
Exactly.
Of course.
So you all see that when you sign a document like this with that kind of language, you relieve them of all responsibility. Do you understand that?
I understand that, Your Honor, but...
Regardless of how badly you're injured, because the law says when you say they're not responsible, you take on the consequences, whatever happens, even if it's this bad.
But Your Honor, but what about
Your Honor.
the fact that, you know, just like they have that says right at your own risk, what about the fact that it's supposed to be one rider at a time, Your Honor?
Well, you all have a rule, one rider at a time.
One rider at a time?
And there was one rider.
These
in
bills
the beginning.
are
All right.
killing me, Your Honor.
So let me look at this waiver. Because every business ought to have one of these, especially when people can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You all put a lot of detail in this, and that's a good thing. And you all stand by this waiver.
Yes.
The verdict is in.
Okay, I think I've seen enough. I'm ready to render my decision. You had her sign a waiver before she got on the bull. We saw her signature. You thought it was clear she's responsible for her own injuries. The evidentiary crown jewel in this case is this release of liability, the waiver. You expect them to live by this waiver. You all plan to live by the waiver too, right?
Exactly.
Of course.
When you sign a document like this with that kind of language, you relieve them of all responsibility. Do you understand that? And you all stand by this waiver.
Yes.
Okay, I think I've seen enough. I'm ready to render my decision.
Good. We're glad to hear it.
Folks, in every personal injury case, the plaintiffs, the injured party, must prove that the defendant did something wrong and that their wrong caused your injuries. Here you all have put up evidence that you went to this carnival to ride Buddy. You all did not expect that you'd have this horrible injury, crushing medical bills, and your life changed for you and your family.
Yes,
That's right. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you all expected that Miss Anderson would be like everybody else. One, understand that you get on a bull, you fall off.
Most certainly.
That's the idea. It's a mechanical
certainly.
bull. You also had her sign a waiver before she got on the bull. We saw her signature. You thought it was clear she's responsible for her own injuries. This waiver is a legal contract between you all. Both of you have to live by it. The evidentiary crown jewel in this case is this release of liability, the waiver. In looking at it, you all were very thorough. You've put everything in here to protect you and to protect the people that ride Buddy. You were very responsible as business owners. You had safety rules. Your safety rules are even included in the waiver. I noticed in looking at it that one of your safety rules is one rider at a time, because that keeps the rider safe. Here, though, you set that rule and you broke it by putting your own employee on.
Yes.
No, she was asking for
And
help,
therefore,
Your Honor.
the
She
waiver
was
does
asking
not
for us to
protect
help
you.
her.
It is your waiver, your rule, and you're breaking that rule. And in that regard, I find in favor of the plaintiffs, and I am going to award you $33,000 for your past medical bills, $20,000 for your future medical bills, $250,000 for pain and suffering, for a total award of $303,000 in favor of the plaintiffs. That's my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.